Welcome to another episode of Redesigning Your Relationships Live. I'm your host, Giovanna Burgess, my co-host.
Hello, Yvette Valdenegro.
And we are on part 4, the last part of our Excuse Me mini-series. If you're joining us live, go back, watch 1, 2, and 3. They're short episodes. They do build on each other. We have a lot of statistics. We have the who, what, where, why. And today we're talking about the when. When are excuses a problem? But before we get into that, if this is the first time you're here, welcome. We go live every Wednesday, and we have a show all podcast platforms every Friday. And we're relationship coaches. We love helping women with their relationship with self, time, and money, which is why excuses is so important to talk about, because it talks about self, time, and money. And I think that's it. We'll get into it.
Let's get into when are excuses a problem? I have to laugh because in my head, I'm like, the minute you say it, I mean, in all reality, it's never good. But the point is, as they progress, as they get more and more in your life, or you keep excusing your excuses more in life, in the bigger picture, when is this really becoming a problem, right?
Yeah.
When you really start to see it. And the underlying theme that we've been kind of saying in part 1, 2, 3, and now 4 is that it really becomes a problem because you'll start to see in yourself and other people, you're not taking responsibility. And we mentioned it before that when someone doesn't take responsibility and you hear them speak and say it, there's something inside of you that kind of goes, ew. And again, I'm going to say this, touching people's toes. So easy for us. Oh, they just made an excuse. Listen to them, right? No, listen to you. We made the statistic. On average, all of us try our best to make an excuse once every 2 hours. So you're not exempt. Nobody's exempt from this. It is a problem. It's a problem in corporate America. It's a problem in relationships. It's a problem with yourself because you're not taking responsibility. And part 3, if you want to go back, really talks about what it does to you personally and how it really affects you.
Yeah. What else is it creating a problem? When you lose respect and you lose trust for yourself. So again, we talked about this in, I think, part 3. Like, we see it in other people. But like, now this is you. This is a relationship with self. You're the one that's making the excuses. So you're starting to lose respect and trust for yourself. And we even talked about, like, there's those people that just use excuses so much that it's like they're living a life that they don't even know that they're living of excuses. So it's really, really important. Like, what kind of relationship do you have with yourself? We want to prioritize our spouse, our kids, our business, our community, but it starts with us. And if you don't have respect for yourself and you don't trust yourself, what does that say about you?
Yeah. And which this will go into the next one. It really starts, yes, it affects your relationships and work and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like this could be one of the reasons why people go into a little bit of depression, why they start being more secluded, because whatever it is that you're telling yourself at that moment, again, it's excusing. So you're looking over the real cause, right? And so therefore you're like, you're not really paying attention to it as much. You disassociate from it. You're not really getting it, but yet it's still affecting you. So you kind of get depressed because you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why do I feel this way? Why don't I feel connected to those people? Why don't I feel connected to myself or my spouse or the person that I'm with? Go back, which is some helpful hints. Go back and look at what is the root cause causing all of this in your life. Because if you, again, rewind and you make an excuse, why are you making that excuse? Which goes back to taking the responsibility, no matter how ugly it may look to you, go back and say, but why did I do that? Why did I say it? What was I feeling at the moment that I just so easily said, oh, girl, I can't go. I don't have enough time. Well, why do you keep saying that over and over? Because you're affecting your relationship with whoever that you just said that with, and more importantly, with yourself. So rewind it and look at those, the roots. The other thing I would just want to say real quick too, is that you've really got to make sure, this is a helpful tip, that your goals really align with your overall objective. Because again, when that's out of alignment, you feel awkward. You feel like you're pushing through and trying stuff that really you shouldn't be pushing through and trying. And so you kind of feel like this doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel normal. Now, if you've been excusing yourself forever, it's not going to feel natural to go back to just being real. You're really going to feel like this is awkward. Yeah, it is going to feel awkward because you haven't really been true with yourself. But when you're being true with yourself and it still feels awkward, go back and just make sure, am I really in alignment with my goal and my overall objective, which is what our favorite thing to do with our clients. Because once you're on that gravy train or crazy train, however you want to look at it, it's a whole different way of being and feeling inside when you do it.
Yeah. And we talked a lot about that in the last episode. Like, we're not the same people we were 5 years ago. Our friends and family that we still have in our close circle can tell you how much we've grown. And we used to be tired all the time. And we used to have we didn't have enough time because we were over scheduling ourselves. Like, it's the truth of like, we don't have enough time. But when we became in alignment, when we had goals, now it's just, for all of you guys who know me, I love time. I think time's on our side. I think we have the gift of time, which is why we teach that. And again, I had to be honest with myself. Did I want to live the life of just like doing the hamster wheel and waking up and always working, always being tired, never being present for myself, for my kids, or did I want to change that? And it's a huge, scary change. But now it's like in complete alignment, and the statistics just from this mini series has proven that it is about self, time, and money. Like, the world revolves around it. We're not making it up. Gio and Yvette are not crazy. This is what we teach. This is what we do. And this is how we live. So people with integrity do what they say they are going to do. Others have excuses.
Oh God, Gio. So I have a story to tell with this one. I recently met a young lady, and for the sake of this podcast, in case she's listening, I'll change what she was doing. Let's just say she was writing a book. She wrote a book, had great success with it. So when I met her, she had a bunch of questions for me. And as I was asking her just general life questions as to, oh, well, why did you do this? And why did you do that? And how's it been going for you here? And she started making excuses. And I started hearing as to, then her story quickly went into, well, I'm not as successful as I have been, and I've taken some time off, and now that I'm getting back into it. But when she was talking to me, it was like, well, then there's this, excuse number one. Well, then there's this. So I just thought, well, I'm just going to ask her some more questions and just kind of do leading. If we took away the hurdle, number one, we took away hurdle number two, took away hurdle number three, number four, whatever it was, all those are not in the way of what you feel like is the success. Now what? How do you feel? I was shocked and not shocked. It made me sad to hear her. The first thing out of her mouth was another excuse.
Yeah.
And she didn't ask me for coaching, so I didn't get into it. It's just merely a conversation, but it made me really sad because I'm like, this is more common than people I think imagine. And maybe I should have recorded the session, or not the session, but my conversation with her, just to be like, do you hear what I hear? Like, it's so dang natural, but it's sad.
It's a mindset. It 100% is a mindset. If again, the statistics say 6 excuses a day, and that's the low end. Imagine someone that's living in an excuse mindset, and it's just over and over. It's like you begin to live a life of excuses, and you think it's normal. And we talked about that in episode 2 and 3. You're depressed. You're not doing the things you want. You don't have purpose. You're not in alignment. You're like, what am I doing with my life? You're that meme. Like, what am I doing with my life? Like that's real. That's real. That's in our clients. That's what's happening in the day-to-day conversations that we have in our communities. Because people haven't normalized it. People think that that's that's okay. People have said like excuses are okay. And so we're here to be the disruptors and be like, can we go down to like 2 excuses a day? I'd be happy if we just did 2 excuses a day and we'd be living our best life. So, oh, I forgot one more quote. I'm going to bring it back up because it's our favorite one. It's been in all of them, but we'll leave you with this. Excuses rob you of your own personal growth. If you got anything from this is it. Your excuses, what you're saying to yourself, what you're saying to others, because there's excuses within ourselves. Like I see it all the time. When I came back from vacation, I'm like, I can take a little more time off. I'm like, I've been on vacation for 10 days. Like, can't make the excuses, right? What kind of relationship are you building with yourself? And what excuses are you making in the relationships that you have with others? Because I promise you're not going to get to the next step or not next level or grow in any relationship if you do not stop using excuses.
Yeah. And the reason that's italicized, the you part, is because it is you, and stop putting your eyes on other people again, we've talked about in other episodes how putting that blame shift on other people is probably the easiest thing to do, because then it's like, it's not me, it's them. Well, okay, if we all lived in a world like that, it would be a hot mess. Maybe another suggestion would be maybe not go to your closest friend, but maybe someone that you consider to be brutally honest, that knows you, and ask them, do I often make excuses? And say, it's okay for you to say, because I'm learning, or to put around the people with you, go, if this is a goal that I'm working on, it's kind of like if you're working on losing weight, right? The people that are around you are going to know that. You're going to say, hey, when you come into my house, try to bring something healthier, or I'm really trying to stay away from whatever it is. Or now that this is not in my diet, I'm just asking people that are around me, can we just be more sensitive to that? And they will be. Same thing with this. If this is a goal for you and you say, hey, I come up with 5 million excuses and I realize that, then tell the closest people around you, when you hear it, will you just gently remind me, like, hey, why are you saying that? Like, ask the why. Like, be gentle with me, but just ask, why are you saying it like that? And then let me be the person to go, oh, you know what? That's really good. Why am I saying that? Because if you're not aware of it, which a lot of us are not, how do you like fix something you're not even aware of? Other than the episode we're talking about, if you feel like you realize that those are some of the things that are affecting your life, then you absolutely know that it is sometimes, but sometimes people aren't aware.
Yep. Well, we hope you enjoyed this mini series. We'll be back next week with a new one. If any of this resonated with you and you just want to talk, we have a free consultation link anywhere you're watching or listening. Hit it, answer the questions, join us virtually. It's really just a session for you to talk, hear yourself, watch yourself, and we are here to help you and guide you with creating a relationship with yourself. So until next week, we'll talk then.